No Protoss in the finals. The patch wasn't enough to carry them. In the top right, it is going to be our red Terran player from the Shopify Rebellion. This is ByuN. 1 second, please. Everyone's requesting their bets get paid out from the last series. Okay, okay. There you go. New one's up. And in the bottom left-hand side, our blue Zerg player is RagnaroK. Alright then, guys. So, best of 5 starting up right here. I was wondering, did ByuN win the last one of these events, or was it Solar the one number 5 of these Christmas Invitationals? Last year... Oh no, ByuN was in the semi-finals. He lost to Solar there. Okay, okay. Alright, alright. Like I say, I mean, just an incredible semi-final between ByuN and MaxPack. So RagnaroK's been waiting a couple of hours to play. Obviously, since his semi-final against Stu finished up. RagnaroK looking good today, right? 2-1 against Clem, 2-1 against Time. Although he was in some losing positions, I feel like, against Time in both games, and then kind of let those, and then Time let those slip. So, yeah, I mean, not perfect. He 3-0'd Stu in the semis. And obviously, ByuN started in the quarterfinals. He gets a 2-1 against Skills, 3-2 against MaxPack. It's good in TVP, but how is his TvZ looking? He did beat RagnaroK 2-1 in the group stages. Again, Group A was that group where you just couldn't quite get a chance to cast properly. And 3 of their players from Group A ended up in the semis, funnily enough. So, yeah, not sure exactly how that ByuN RagnaroK series played out, but we'll get a taste of it now in this best of 5 format. A couple of Reapers already on the way through. And just going to be seeing those be accompanied by the, I assume very soon, an expansion, right? It's very rare you don't expand behind this, so it is just going to be 3 Reapers to start. This is something which ByuN enjoys. I mean, he's always been a very Reaper-heavy guy when given the opportunity. This may just be one of those times where he will try and utilize that to the best of his ability. It's become kind of popular to do this on Waterfall. Just these shorter maps, Reapers get here quickly and trade very well, force a lot more lings. You're almost guaranteed to do quite a bit of damage. And just makes things a little bit tough for the Zerg as well, so it can give you a good little position, and yeah, just forces more lings, hurts the eco quite a bit, and yeah, you're expanding a bit later too, but you get some extra control as well, so pretty enjoyable. As our first queen about to pop will help to solidify the defense here. Now we do have one ling that's super low. We try to dive for a cheeky drone kill there. One Reaper already hurting quite a lot though, and will be put to the back as ByuN comes back up this ramp to investigate the opportunity of perhaps further damage to be dealt. Grenades trying to zone the queens to give you a chance on the drones. Good spore crawler build. Like I say, extra lings had to be built already. We do finally get our first kill of the game. Sorry, there's a second kill. Sorry, we lost one ling already before, but second kill. RagnaroK's done pretty well defensively speaking. As ByuN just going to take this as an opportunity, like I say, to follow up from here, and obviously you can move into that. Well, that was awkward. That Reaper actually had a chance to move forward, and it did, and it's got surrounded, so not sure what ByuN was trying to do there. Maybe some grenades or something, but I mean, obviously if you get a Reaper up and you can get a couple shots off Cube, but then he didn't even really attack with the Reapers, so he just loses one. A little bit of a shame, as it just takes away a little bit of the potential power of these Reapers. Full wall off at home. The Lings about to have their Ling speed, and ByuN is already pulling back with the Reapers, aware that it's that point in the game to, you know, just time to get out of here. So yeah, Lings shouldn't be able to do too much. We hop back down. Ooh, already got Lings on the low ground though. Well, ByuN will be losing the Reapers in this case. I thought ByuN was going to just evacuate them all the way. I didn't realize he was going to stop them on the third. It's a little bit of a shame. Reapers a little bit carelessly lost, I suppose, on all of them. Honestly, had the timing down to keep them alive potentially, so like I say, a little bit of a shame. As we do have Cloak starting up for the Banshee. And there's one Marine just going to patrol away off over on the edge. So that's just going to be having a little bit of an adventure around, seeing what might happen. Pain in the Nest already starting up from RagnaroK. A couple of additional drones on the way. And obviously with the Cloak Banshee, shouldn't be seeing anything too wild to start us out here. Obviously excited to potentially see some later game between these two. See some Ultras, maybe some Hydras, some Vipers. Those are the things we want to see tested out in this patch. See those Ghost Snipes maybe not being as effective. Those are all things I think we'd be very happy to see a little bit of testing on. So that would be the dream way for this finals to go. I mean, obviously we like late game anyway, right? So we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be seeing a couple of racks continuing through as we just have our +1 attack, combat shield all continuing along. Queens get here. And Banshee getting pushed away. I'm just going to be seeing a few Marines around that bottom right side. Couple of racks still coming through. +1 attack, combat shield continue to produce for the moment. I'm just going to have this hatchery going down the left side as well as getting that 4th base up and running here very, very soon as a drone gets across. Banshee got one shot, but that'll be all. Can still chip some damage onto this hatch and can be quite annoying from here, so just going to do that, force some queens to move over. Meanwhile, we've got the attack on the right side at the same time. Don't forget, obviously, this is a multi-racks opening, so you've got quite a little push going on with the Marines. And obviously, the medevacs are not here yet. They're over on that other side. Man, this feels like a terrifying attack to have to defend against right now as RagnaroK. Just force one stim at least, which is actually quite nice. Anything you can do to depower these Marines seems pretty reasonable. Marines will pull back, joined up with everything else, and like I say, this is going to be tough for RagnaroK, no? Full on 2 base commitment here from ByuN, 5 racks. RagnaroK doesn't have any upgrades yet. He doesn't have Baneling speed. You usually want to have at least one of these at this point for this push. I guess Baneling speed's not far off, but even just the first few moments without it could be quite dangerous, so a lot on the line. Or a little bit right now. Marine's going to get here, put some damage onto this hatch. We are going to have the Banes getting their Bane speed halfway through this. ByuN's going to have to lift up, no? He's trying to keep it going. The one tank putting in some serious work. 18 kills on Mr. Siege Tank. ByuN did lose a lot. He lost most of the Marines. He lost both the tanks. Don't get me wrong, he cleaned out a good bit, but was that worth it? Yeah, I really thought he was going to lift up. He could have preserved some more Marines, and would that have made the difference? He is up 20 army supplies still, so pushing forward. Let's see if it was enough or not. Resources lost heavily in his favor, so it is kind of a check to see, hey, you know, are you trading well enough to be able to afford more defensive with those 62 drones versus my 2 base all in? ByuN's still just going to hammer on the front door then. And this base might just have to be given up. Obviously, losing a hatchery is going to mean less production available for your Ling Bane setup, and that's not ideal. We're going to see some Ling Bane from RagnaroK will counterattack. But ByuN is set up very well for counterattacks. I don't think that would achieve much at all. The Banshee as well. Yeah, just go to see the Banshee alive, because it can spot for stuff like this then, and obviously make your life a whole bunch easier, as RagnaroK will have to retake a 4th down to the bottom right then. It's a little bit off from where you'd usually like it to be. We'll see if, I mean, basically if ByuN takes a 3rd base, then pushing that 4th base, that new 4th base would be very easy, but of course ByuN doesn't have a 3rd base. He continues with this 2 base all in. Liberator support now is obviously a pretty big deal. With Liberator support, you're obviously in a great spot. These things aren't going to be able to run by too heavily. Yeah, the Liberator support is huge because obviously it's just damage done every time you run through those libs. A shot will get a kill every time on Ling Bane. It seems like a lot of overkill, but it does add up as ByuN caught off guard here though. Unsieged and ready to attack. They had 1 tank over to the left-hand side. I mean, this is off creep. That's the good news for him. He just about pulled together a fight there, but he does still lose his 2 siege tanks. So unfortunately losing a lot of the splash damage, and that's the one thing RagnaroK's doing a great job of. He's keeping the siege tank count reset and at a low number, so that puts him in a great position typically as these queens. They wanted that Liberator, they don't quite find it. Tank getting siege, and Marine's just going to have to stem backward here. Our Banelings trying to run through. ByuN missed a bit of a split there. I thought he was going to be able to split further away. I think RagnaroK is starting to clean this up quite seriously, guys. ByuN is losing a lot right now. The Liberators are still going huge over here, but I mean, that's pretty much the only thing, and now they're getting cleaned up as well. The tank here gets sieged. We lift up the Marines. The tank is going to be abandoned, and I think RagnaroK has a hold too many times. ByuN is being too aggressive, too far forward. Just caught repeatedly in bad positions, bad places, at bad timings. Very expensive, unfortunately. Very, very expensive. Marines of ByuN will work their way down the right-hand side. Gonna get immediately in range. Lings starting to take some damage. A few Banes rolling forward as well. And Banelings trying to reach for the moment as the rest of our Marines will come through. Continue to chase those Banelings away. Scans up to the high ground investigation as to what's going on. And 2 extra libs coming through. The additional Marines are setting up. 2 melee upgrades still producing as well on the side of RagnaroK. And as Lings get around, they're able to grab towards an SCV pretty quickly. Just going to see the rest of Lings escaping up the top. These lava are indeed going to be popping as again, +2 melee. Not too far from finishing up at the moment. It's going to be 2-2 against 1-1, and that's obviously a Zerg upgrade lead. That's not usually what you want to have in these situations. ByuN, well, is actually going to tank a lot with that siege tank, and the Liberator puts some work in. Counter-attack immediately onto his third base, though. I mean, ByuN's throwing everything across the map aggressively, so defending is not really on his radar too heavily, and that is, of course, a problem. And it just means that these Lings do very well. I mean, honestly, though, could have maybe argued you expected more out of them. Lens coming through, ByuN's scared enough to lift off and relocate to the other side of the Liberators just via the sky instead of pulling away, so definitely a bit concerned for the grand scheme of things. RagnaroK just, like I say, a lot of those early attacks just eventually were just too good, and ByuN was unable to really take good... I mean, ByuN had the chances to, right? Like, he just was a little bit too overeager. He was attacking a bit... He wasn't even attacking too much. He just wasn't prepared to siege up every time that RagnaroK jumped on him. RagnaroK was very proactive in picking fights, and that was big for him. Now that ByuN has a third, he's evening out the upgrades. We do see RagnaroK improving his army as well, realizing it might be time to give up on just the Pureling Bane. He opts for the Hydra Den. We might get to see some speedy Hydralisks in this game 1 of the best of 5 of our grand finals. Marines unload over to the left side. This one miss upgrade is still producing a few additional Hydras coming through as well. Medivacs and 2-2 continuing out for the moment. As our Marines are going to come stemming up. A couple of creep teamers will begin to go down. Our Lings and our Banes want to make their way by. Quite getting the chance. Swallcrawler is just going to burrow up. Marines to the side will grab an Ovi. ByuN building Widow Mines, but I mean, now you're building Widow Mines as Hydras are starting to come onto the field, so it's almost like you're building mines just as you really do need more siege tanks again. Game goes on for the moment, at least 4th CC building. That's one that ByuN would obviously love to have a chance to get up, because I'm sure there's points in this game where he never imagined he'd get to a 4th base, especially once it started going south for him, but been able to make something of it so far. Here is another fight which ByuN will be, I think, pretty happy with, right? I mean, you get to come in, you trade off a bit. A couple Marines went down. Gonna intercept a Hydra in the meantime in the middle of the map. Actually gonna intercept a few Hydras. Probably could have had those, but backs away. He was not even really backing away for any reason, so bit of a shame. There's just a few Hydras free pickings right then and there. RagnaroK finds himself a stroke of fortune. It's moves like that, it's little pickoffs like that that can definitely completely catapult this game, you know, back into ByuN's favor and his control, right? So definitely something to be thinking of. Like I say, ByuN building the 4th base. He's very happy to let this start becoming a much longer game here. These other Widow Mines getting to burrow up. Knock down a Spore. Hydras and Queens pushing through. The Lings swarming into this orbital command. Good Widow Mine shot. Next Widow Mine shot actually does pretty well as well. Most of the Lings there initially getting cleaned out. Can we evacuate the SCVs? We do lift up a bunch of them. Banes. Oh, they find the center of the Marines on the reinforcements, though. Well, I actually felt like the majority of this was very good for ByuN if he just didn't lose as many Marines on the right side. He saves the 4th base. That's even better. I mean, don't get me wrong, the thing's still pretty decent overall for RagnaroK. Just ByuN really making a show of this, really refusing to die without the best possible fight. A little bit of creep spread going to go down. Just going to be seen a couple Marauders coming through. Lings will go for these SCVs. This Marauder going to get chipped at as a Widow Mine will grab a good chunk of the Lings here. We're just going to see the rest of this Bioforce of ByuN making its way to the right side. Marauders get there as well. Zerglin is popped. And a couple of SCVs will repair up Command Center for the moment. So, coming through with that for now. That's a lot of Lings. Moving to the northern side here. Here we go. Just going to be having our Widow Mine setting up. Our ByuN starting to fight. Big Widow Mine onto the banelings from the high ground, man. Defensively, ByuN is fantastic at the start of this fight. And the Widow Mine from the high ground onto the banelings. Perfection, right? Absolutely beautiful. Widow Mine there. Going to grab a whole chunk of lings. And as the few Marauders continuing to give chase for a little while. Again, extra creep spread just coming down. Widow Mine off to the side. Set up as well. 3-3 continues to produce on the side of ByuN. Again, a couple of additional Widow Mines continuing up as well. It's a lot of Ling Bane from RagnaroK running out to the far right side of the map. Looking for a wraparound. The Widow Mine this time friendly fires more than anything else. ByuN has a supply lead in army, but he's obviously extremely low on workers, so he needs these split pushes to put some work in. It can work. The lurker seems a little bit nasty, but he actually kind of overwhelms the position. ByuN. It's not ideal. He's losing everything on the right side. This Ling Bane force continues through. The idea of split pushing is cool in this scenario, right? Because when you have that much army supply, it's very difficult for the Zerg to just overwhelm one specific army. So then you can find very good trades and make up for the fact that you're on a really low worker count. Gonna be seeing the Marauder chasing by, Baneling having to go retreat. And just gonna be having nice bio force of ByuN still making its way over to the left. Now Lings come to wrap around. Marauders will get fully surrounded. Mine unloads, gets set to burrow up potentially. Our medevac's continuing up to the top, and just going to see a bunch of mules dropping down over on the right-hand side as well. These few Lings will chase in and not really succeed too heavily. I mean, 18 minutes here on Waterfall, a game that was obviously a lot would say it decided very early on. Obviously a big lead for ByuN, and then a big turnaround from RagnaroK, and RagnaroK has led ever since. ByuN just putting up again a fight until the bitter end. Will not let any game slip away without every possible option explored for getting back into it. Have a lurker as we come around. Lings, Banes, more lurkers coming through. Just for the moment, our Bioforce has to back it up just a couple of moments once again, and just going to be seeing this force. Still taking position in the center. A couple libs and the Bioforce is still all gathering up. And they're going to ready another assault across this left-hand side, so another huge attack here. And the Lings, the Banes, would like to start flooding forward as best they can. Here we go. Lurker's obviously looking to run into this fight as well. A couple of libs do get set up. Actually killing a bunch of the Hydras initially, but the Hydras get the flank going now. Widow Mine's going off on the Overseers, which, I mean, you can argue is fine, because obviously the Overseers are kind of meant to do that. They're sent off the Widow Mines, but then the Widow Mines aren't being friendly fired into the bio, so that at least is good. ByuN has a 40 army supply lead, guys. I mean, it really is a question of can these Lurkers make up for the army difference. And it's about a 30 army supply lead now as ByuN backed it up a little bit, and he's got to be running out of economy. This third and fourth base have been mining for an eternity at this stage. At this point in time, we've got to see some sort of difference being made, no? Bio force coming through, rest of the bio coming out the right-hand side. Just going to be having our Ling there getting picked off. A couple of Liberators will siege. Push up this ramp. The creep tumor is already going down. The bio will have to kite backwards. Our Widow Mine's going to go off. Friendly fire into the medevac. Still a 30 army supply lead for ByuN, but when does it end? There's a point at which he just can't afford to do this anymore off the bases he currently has. Surely that's soon. No? Force in the center here is going to come forward, and RagnaroK's going to burrow the Lurker. We scan up. Oh, Lurker's from the other side, though. I mean, ByuN can't fight that. That's where ByuN's army supply will disappear very quickly. Going to try and siege up these Liberators as well. Just way too much damage output. RagnaroK doing way too much. He gets the victory in the end, but boy, was it a bit of effort RagnaroK takes the 1-0 lead in this. In the bottom right corner of the map, from the Shopify Rebellion, our blue Terran player, ByuN. Up against the red Zerg in the top left-hand side. This is RagnaroK. Map 2 of our best of 5 then, guys. Again, welcome back. Grand final seeded day. Players looking to double up their money from a $300 prize guaranteed for the loser of this series to $600 for the winner. Here in the final WardiTV tournament of the year, of course. Tomorrow, New Year's Eve, and we have World Team League action for you guys. As the final week of World Team League starts tomorrow for a triple header special tomorrow and on New Year's Day. First from RagnaroK and Gas as well, so cheeky and aggressive potentially here on Cosmic Sapphire map that is typically very good for Zerg. Maybe one where you don't expect, as the Terran player, some potential aggression from the Zerg side of things. That could be actually pretty notable. Well, next speed coming up, Rax is coming down the side of ByuN, and it's a double orbital, of course, because he does play CC first. CC first is actually a nice counter to the pool first, typically, because he can't be as aggressive as he'd like to be with pool first. It doesn't delay the CC, because the CC is already done. This from RagnaroK, though, is the fast link speed as well. That could be very good for him if ByuN isn't aware of it, and obviously if he catches the first few Marines down on the low ground, for example. And these things are going to have link speed. I mean, like I say, it's only really good if you kind of catch the Marines, though, because otherwise, it's what? You're going to kill a couple SCVs on the natural, and then you can't really go anywhere else. Killing the Marines and the SCVs is a little bit more of a bonus. I mean, RagnaroK hasn't overbuilt links here, only 12. It's still an investment, though, and obviously right now not necessarily guaranteed to do too much. I mean, he can cancel the depot here. That's what I think. Couple of SCVs low ground, gonna run them off to the side. Like I say, we probably have to cancel the depot, right? The SCVs actually. 2 of the SCVs survive, so we lose 1 SCV and a depot cancel. And this SCV, I think, lives as well with the Marine count getting higher. This really wasn't good for RagnaroK. Like I say, you're expecting a little bit more than that at the very least, honestly. Like I said, to me, you should at the very least be able to grab the SCVs from the low ground. And that didn't even happen. One of the biggest things here, ByuN, I guess momentarily was supply blocked. Put that next depot down this low ground. You might think that's a bit of a random depot, but it actually has an immediate effect. In case there's more lings, the Marines can use that depot to choke themselves up. And if they choke themselves up, then obviously more lings cannot get as easy as a surround. So actually, it's actually a pretty nice depot. It's going to have an immediate use, at least. Compared to the depots at the front, they're not going to immediately wall or anything. And you don't want to have your Marines that far forward either, so... yeah, it seems like a bit of a random depot, but it allows you to put it down more safely, and you can use it to your own benefit as well. So it kind of has like a double whammy of usefulness, which is obviously very cool. Marines just gathering together. Obviously, Stim's about to be done here as well, so... discussing that in a few moments' time as to whether the Stim will have a... early role to play or not in this game. See if ByuN can get across the map. First medevacs are producing, so yeah, there they are. They're not going to be long before getting to the other side and at least testing their luck to see if they can find some damage with these Marines. See if we can start finding some good initial trades at the very get-go. Some Marines, medevacs make their way up the right. I'm just going to be taking the watchtower for a few moments as we continue on by. Get all the way up towards the third base even, so It's going to come in over here. 24 more lings in production. This is just Ling Queen, right? It's a lot of lings, by the way. 50 lings on the map right now is... My Skype isn't muted. Hang on. For some reason. Skype isn't on D&D. And our Marines gonna come through, get lifted up into the medevacs, and just escape away over to the side, so... Yeah, I mean, there's just so many lings. But it's coming at the cost of obviously not that great of a work account. Not ideal, and there's quite a few Marines. We'll unload out into the center and we'll begin to press forwards. Looking for a chance to clean out some of this creep. Obviously, creep is not as good as it should be just because of the fact of how Ragnarok's opened. Basically, a lot of how Ragnarok opened put him in some trouble. That Widowmine shot hit a few lings, but it did trail into the tail end of the Marines, and none of these Marines escape away. Ragnarok gets a full cleanup. ByuN unable to pick up and save them. Massive deal. Damn. Well, medevacs will retreat back home, empty-handed, no Marines in them, and this is not looking too pretty at all for ByuN just yet, looking like he's in a little bit of trouble for the moment. It's going to come in, Marines will grab a Zergling, CC will land down, and a few additional Banes will continue to produce as our creep spread continues to push out into the middle of the map. At this, I mean, the only thing I have to say that I still like for ByuN, I guess, is that it wasn't the greatest eco all game for Ragnarok. Like, ByuN has actually been quite far ahead in economy all game, CC first, and not taking much damage in the early stages against that build that Ragnarok chose with the early gas and stuff. Like, ByuN's economy has actually been pretty good. It's just a shame that he lost all those Marines, you know, because usually ByuN's so good at keeping Marines like that alive. And in general, I think most Terran players would expect those Marines to get out of there, so... It kind of does a lot to even the game out, though, so I guess I kind of like it in that regard. Like, I'm kind of trending towards feeling as though this should be, like, super Ragnarok favored based on what we just saw, but then I'm like, well, realistically, is it super Ragnarok favored? I actually not really convinced it is, you know? I'm not really convinced it is super Ragnarok favored, because, like I say, his economy just hasn't been as good as it usually would be. Now, the map is good for Ragnarok for a later game, and that's one thing that's maybe getting a bit more guaranteed here by the way this is open and back and forth that we've seen. So maybe you could argue that a little bit. As you do have the Marines coming through and picking away. And just a whole bunch of group spread in the middle of the map, so... Working through that as a Widowmine connects to a couple of Banes. We're going to engineer and Bay block in the SCVs. That works. Surely they can't do anything on the back of this mineral line, right? So those Banelings get nullified pretty easily. And still I'm loading up to the 12 o'clock position. Couple Hydras continue through. I'm just going to be seeing this force of ByuN pressing out. We have a Widowmine shot. Just going to find one single Baneling and initially going to find another off to the sides. Ragnarok is up to 84 workers, but against 78 SCVs and down on army supply on his way to Hydras. I think Ragnarok here is going to be saved by the map a little bit because it's not easy to attack in on Cosmic. It's a large map to reinforce on as well, so I think that's actually going to be, for the moment, Ragnarok's saving grace in a game that is actually really not being that brilliant for him, despite some moments that looked really good. Marines back out to the center, just going to be dropping a scan here and clearing out a whole bunch of group spread. Lingbane Hydra coming back along the other side. And here we go with these units pressing forward. Marines are going to eat a little Widowmine shot there. I'm just going to be seeing the rest of these Marines having to continue pulling back. Ragnarok's just down on supply in general right here, so ByuN is honestly looking good. About to hit 2-2 upgrades. You have the Hydras that are obviously in play, but they're nowhere near making it to Lurkers. The infestation pit's just finishing, so we're what, like 3 minutes away from Lurkers being good on the map? Gotta build a Lurk Den and Hive in tandem. Morphin Lurkers, but typically you need at least one of the Lurker upgrades to make them good as well, so we're way off there. Gives ByuN a whole bunch of time to take advantage of, well, just the Bioforce. Do you see an unprotected right side base from ByuN? It's not a planetary, just an orbital, so that's one to keep our eyes on. Definitely openings, perhaps, that ByuN could utilize, that RagnaroK could utilize to hit counterattacks on. Would be one of the weaker positions, and one of the easier positions for him to find success in at the moment. Here come a few of these Banelings, gonna come by. Gonna jump in for a few of these SCVs, 14 of them already going down. Well, immediately the weaker base exposure, though. Banelings don't really care so much about the planetary anyway. I was mostly thinking we might see some Bane run-bys there. The Bane's being used there, though. Maybe ByuN can take advantage of it. Ooh, the Bane's going off mostly on the Marauders. Do we have enough Banelings remaining? Oh my goodness, this is a real question mark of a fight, because it's like, does the DBS from the Marines do enough to shut the Banes down before they get connected on? The answer was no. And a few of the Banes got to connect, and in the end, ByuN has to evacuate. I was not sure. I was like, well, maybe it was mostly just those Banelings moving in. Like I say, that's when things can get a little tricky sometimes. This is an attempt to make use of the fact that this is just an orbital, but there's units here, so the Lings will not do very well at all. And like I say, I think this is a case where the map is really helping to protect RagnaroK quite a significant amount. You know, we're talking about a Zerg on a large map. He's getting good creep spread down the left-hand side. On a map like Inside and Out, I think this game is very likely on its way to being done in ByuN's favor, but this is, of course, you know, RagnaroK's map pick, so it's meant to be good for him as well. Another couple of wooden lanes just continuing out. Just going to be seeing our Banelings passing by. Just going to try and get to the bottom right corner. Aiming for another few SCVs, 4 workers and a mule. And ByuN trying to build the 5th base on location is, I want to say, a bit of a statement even, but like, well, I mean, it's kind of working for the moment. See if RagnaroK can find a cancel on that. ByuN might just feel the need to leave units on that side to protect it, in which case you've got to question, was it worth, you know, is that worthwhile at all? This force of ByuN going to get cornered and caught a little bit, but RagnaroK actually lost a lot initially. Wow, the Marauders are not dying. The Hydras only have a +1 missile upgrade against +3 armor. They just don't do enough damage. These Banes are going to be coming in at the right moment to save the day. We are on lurkers, but we need to get them up and into the right positions, otherwise they don't really mean very much at all. Rest of our bio pulling back across. Just going to be seeing that few Lings going to go nip at the CC. That is going to be a cancel. Bio gets rid of a few Lings. It's going to be seeing our lurkers and Lings still producing +2 missiles, +3 carapace. All of this continuing out as a few extra ghosts on the way through. Got our lurkers trying to get us around. Obviously, ghosts on the way, so lurkers shouldn't be an immediate problem, right? Like, lurkers are good, but we have an answer to lurkers on the way up. But these ghosts on the other side are going to get caught. Yeah, I mean, they just came in at the wrong time from the wrong angle. And, I mean, RagnaroK is still down in supply overall in this battle. Coming out the tail end of it. ByuN comes in with extra units. Can he actually take down the lurkers, though? Because a lot of his reinforcing ghosts got killed. A lot of his other ghosts have already sniped. I'm not sure he can kill these lurkers off, man. And I think that's going to be the one thing that keeps RagnaroK alive here on Cosmic Sapphire. Lurkers do a little unburrow, reburrow yet again. I'm just going to see our Lings run back up to the top side. Going to try and come through for a couple more creep tumors. It's going to be seeing our ghosts still producing. As you have Marauders and Mines coming in as well. Lings will hit the right side. This 5th base. What a surprise. It was cancelled once. It's going to get cancelled again, maybe? And he's building other CCs elsewhere, so it's not the only CC he has to rely on to be a 5th, but a little greedy. A little greedy for sure. I feel like we can say that one without too many repercussions. Those things over on the far right side getting picked off as well, so they do not do too well as we advance forward here. Ghost's going to get rid of a couple lurkers straight away. These Banes want to roll through. The Ghost's going to have to continue getting back. They actually survived the Banelings, so good tanking. And now you get some snipes going. There was a snipe cancel on the top left. That's again their Ghost difference, or the Ghost nerf. Range is capped at 13.5 for a snipe, so it used to just be about, do you have vision? Brilliant, you're good to go. Now it's a question of 13.5 range, and we have actually seen that be quite impactful. Like, we've seen a lot of Ghost snipes that haven't gone off because of it, so obviously helping the Zerg quite a bit. And the upgrades suck from RagnaroK. +1 melee only. +2 missiles. No adrenal glands either. I was just checking in, I was like, man, not good. These ghosts obviously getting some shots off, not enough damage being done to them to get cancels. And I was like, oh, the Lings now might find a bit of a surround. Medivacs getting hit by parasitic bombs. We are going to have a less than ideal split, considering it's ByuN. We'd oftentimes expect better, but his Medivac's at least still surviving. ByuN will back it up for just a moment. Still feels like he's got the pressure going in his favor in this game. More snipes, one more lurker. Gonna make that happen once again here. The Overseer's trying to get set up. Obviously, we're fighting over this top right side. For ByuN, this also protects his 5th base location on the right side that he's now gotten up and is actually mining from. So it's a pretty big deal for him. He's denying the bottom left with a mine, so he's making sure the gold isn't being taken. So for him, he just wants to push and break this top right. And then he's pretty happy that he's done enough in terms of eco this game. And he probably has done. Resources lost 10k in ByuN's favor. It's a big difference. I think it's not going to be an issue for ByuN to mine bottom left when he feels the need to go there. Not with the pressure he's currently applying, at least. Things can change by then. Obviously, coming across these bridges is tough, so ByuN not closing this game out just yet as we're heading to our second long game of this series so far. So we had a long one on the previous map. Waterfall. If you just tuned into this final, it was a cracker of a game one. Amazing semi-final between ByuN and MaxPax as well. I highly recommend you guys catch up. In fact, it's just loads of good games to catch up on. Talk about that more a bit later on. Wouldn't mind going off, catching a couple Lings. Burrow is going to be finishing very soon from RagnaroK. So he's going to be able to maybe use some Burrowed Banes to his advantage. That would be kind of cute. But Mine's here going to get some initial damage done as we'll pull the SCVs to try and repair the planetary. ByuN gave up this position for a few moments, man. I feel like he loves it, though. He's like, hey, cool. You want to fight? There's a fungal growth on some of these ghosts, but man, the damage has already been done. The fungals don't mean anything when you've already killed off so much. Gonna get some snipes now on these final lurkers. We have enough snipes. Actually, just attack moving forward, and that's scary, but I guess it's getting the job done. ByuN looks as though he's gonna be okay. Attacking the left side, too. RagnaroK taps GG's. ByuN wins on Cosmic Sapphire. And we are in for a hell of a grand final if this is how the games are going to look. All of that kind of stuff. Top left-hand side. It is going to be tying the series up. 1-1 our red Terran player. This is ByuN. The Shopify Rebellion. Taking it on in the top right, our blue Zerg from Alpha X. RagnaroK. Mukiwa, thank you so much for your fresh new Prime sub. Much appreciated. Let's get ourselves into game 3 of this best of 5 Stargazers. Here's our map. Take a little scout with that drone. Worried about proxy racks, apparently. Game number 3. Drone really is checking everywhere. ByuN likes to crank out proxy racks sometimes on maps he's unfavored on as well. He picked Stargazers as well, which probably makes you wonder, hey, why are you picking Stargazers, right? Like, what is it that makes you decide, hey, let's play this map sooner compared to Inside and Out or Data C or so? Very interesting. Outrageous Face, thank you so much for the outrageously kind Prime sub. Appreciate it. Thank you for using your sub on the channel. Thank you very much. As do have our couple of additional racks coming down, so this is going to be a 3 racks at home from ByuN. What the hell is he planning? This Reaper pops out. Let's see, we're about to see this as RagnaroK has 2 racks at the front. What he won't know is the 3rd racks in the main. So he probably will just assume 3 Reapers and we're done, when in reality it's actually going to probably be a whole bunch more Reapers. And yo, Moradin, thank you so much for the 4-year resub. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing well. And thank you so much for the generosity. Over 4 years, continue to subscribe. Thank you very much indeed. Reaper coming in after a Zergling here. And Feeling's going to turn back around. Reaper will take a little shot. It's going to be seen our, like I say, 3 Reapers at a time. The good old 3-Racks Reaper. ByuN going to bring it back. Do we think this works? I mean, so here's the thing. This opening, well, we're about 45 seconds away from... 55 seconds, about a minute away from speed. We already lose a Reaper. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're forcing a lot of Lings out. To me, one of the great things about a 3-Racks Reaper is actually the ability to really delay the third base, but the third is already down. It's not like you're going to cancel it once it's down. It's just tough to usually get a drone over there, you know? Jumps up, jumps down. We actually have had multiple times, once today already, the Reapers failing when they jump up here for ByuN. It's actually an interesting little interaction, right? Because usually you jump up, you get a couple shots off for free with the vision, and then you jump back down. ByuN has repeatedly had a Reaper that's then gone darting forwards and not having a good time, so... I did ask, guys, sorry, a bit of a dumb moment for me. I did ask at the start, I'm like, well, ByuN, what are you picking this map for? Well, yeah, StarCraft is actually a pretty good TvZ map. Sorry, guys, for some reason I had my TVP brain on. Would have been a bit weird for him to pick it in TVP. TvZ, yes, this is actually a good map. Good defensive base setup. Hard for the Zerg to counterattack and to trade. And just an in-base expand for the Terran to use. Which then makes me wonder why ByuN's coming out with some large stuff like 3-Racks Reaper. He's going to go Bio behind this, but look at the follow-up from RagnaroK. Baneling Nest about to finish. He's going to go for Ling Bane all in to try and punish ByuN's opener. That means RagnaroK needs to do some damage. He's only got... Well, he is behind by 4 workers. Never mind, he's only got... He's not got any sort of a lead. He's behind in workers, so he needs damage here. He's only got 25 drones. ByuN, can he defend against this? Without knowing it's coming is what's going to make this extremely tough, right? Without knowing this is on its way is going to make this really rough. So here we go. The Banelings move forward. We're going to knock down the initial depot. That kills off the reactor as well. We do get the Baneling target fire, though, from the Marines after. Actually, losing the barracks here would be a pretty big issue. The depot gets busted down again. I think that's fine, though. Can we actually protect Stim? He's going to send some SCVs to repair Stim? Oh, my God. This is ridiculous. Okay. This is really ridiculous. Stim is so close to finishing? It's going to finish, no? Yeah, it is. Unless the Banelings went for the SCVs. We're actually going to lift up. We're going to... Oh, we're going to let the Lings in, but we've got Stim, so it doesn't matter. Oh, my God. Honestly, you shouldn't ever Baneling bust ByuN. His micro's too good for it. But this is the second time I've seen ByuN do this week, right? He had a game against Solar, I think, where he did something very similar. I understand it from RagnaroK's perspective. You've had a good start against the Reapers. You're playing a map that's not good for you the later the game goes. Let's go try and win it now. ByuN's just too freaking good for this stuff to work, though. Like, you know, like, it's just nutty. Honestly, it's just a little bit nutty when you see him pull it out. Reactor is going to go back into business on the front. And otherwise, just combat shield and +1 on the way. And our medevacs are coming up. And now you've got a very low-tech RagnaroK having to deal with a very high-tech ByuN for this state of the game. And actually, RagnaroK is droning so heavily, I'm genuinely concerned. He's going to have like 55 drones against, well, 3-Racks bio production. I feel like that's too much with no Bane speed or upgrade. I am worried for RagnaroK, guys. I think I'm happy to say that repeatedly. Let's see what ByuN can do. First medevacs out. They will start to heal these units as they come across the map. He will be able to morph in some Banes to help him defend. But again, without Bane speed, how useful are the Banelings if ByuN's micro is on point? This is a this is a tough little moment as we come through and we knock down some creep tumors. Remove that creep spread from the equation. Gonna get another creep tumor here. Okay, this is probably a lift and get out of here from ByuN. He will target down a couple of Banelings. He misses the pickup. He tried to do too much. He tries to target down the Banes and then lift up, and the micro was not there. Marine massacre. And RagnaroK will go back on top, I think. The assumption is pretty much always that these Marines will just survive and live to fight with more Marine support and with more medevacs. Losing the Marines is a very uncommon occurrence. And it's going to, in this case, be extremely costly as RagnaroK is going to progress into a very solid spot. Now, no third CC from ByuN, right? No, there is a third CC, so there is a third base. He's going to float it down right now, even, as he gets the armory online, getting into +2 territory. He has his 4th and 5th racks as well. I mean, it's a 10 worker lead for RagnaroK. He's still pretty late on upgrades. Obviously, the good news is it was only a single upgrade at a time from ByuN instead of double upgrades from ByuN. I honestly still think it's pretty okay for ByuN overall. It's just obviously, imagine he still has like 10, even just 10 more Marines on the map. Imagine 10 of those Marines got saved. Because then you're talking about like a very competitive army supply, and then RagnaroK's maybe not able to drone as much. And then ByuN's obviously applying a whole bunch more pressure. The script spread doesn't get as far. It's a completely different game. That's why I think don't not like about it, but like that's the issue for ByuN, that now so much has come out of it going the other way, basically. Marines, Medivacs, and a mine will come out to the front and obviously just decide where and when they can actually deal some damage. Right now they have a +1 attack lead, which will help a little bit. Let's see. Obviously, Banelings do have their speed, which makes them a bit scarier than what we've seen in the past portions of this game. Going through, just going to grab a couple of those creep dreamers and an immediate lift up. In this case, it's just going to be a lift up and pull away. Obviously, you could lift up and commit through a little bit as well. You can definitely get a couple of options. The Marines will be unloading on the high ground and just knocking down a whole bundle of creep spread. Loads up, backs away. That's going to be seeing the CC finishing up at the front, and the barracks will continue to produce. That CC will go down on the 9 o'clock now, so ByuN getting to a 4th base. I mean, if you do need to play a long game, this is not a bad map to have to play a long game on. Easy to take bases for a while for the Terran player, difficult to counterattack as the Zerg. You can really control the pacing of the game a lot, defensively and offensively on this map, and that's obviously a pretty big factor. Well, we have a few moments of calm. I want to say thank you to SnoopyT7, dropped the donation. Thank you so much, mate. Says thanks to Save and SAT. Thank you for supporting the stream and the tournaments. Without you guys, as always, like I say, this stuff isn't possible. So, shout out you guys watching, donating, cheering, subbing, whatever. You guys rock. Banelings coming through. Widow Mines do get taken down. The Marines have to evacuate away. And RagnaroK's going to max and go. And it's going to be scary for ByuN for sure. I don't know if it's going to be deadly. It's going to be difficult to hold, though, I think. Just the fact that it's got the power of the Hydras behind it as well, I think is additionally scary, though. I think that's actually going to just pack that little bit of an extra punch that's hard to deal with. We do have those Hydras with already their speed in play. It's one of the updates from the patch, as we do have a couple Widow Mines going off. Bioforce has to back away for just a few moments. The Queens were still pressing forward and just going to see everything else from RagnaroK. Back on that right-hand side, 13 new Banelings already morphing in. Maxed. How will we do this? Hive on the way up as well for RagnaroK. So he has got tech behind it. He is definitely going to try and fight at least a little bit, though. What's this Widow Mine going to do? First Widow Mine was good. Second mine hits nicely as well. The bottom lings actually dragged the Widow Mine into the top lings. It was like a double whammy of a mine. The Marines just come through and knock down an Overlord. Obviously, this in-base expand is one that ByuN will take with ease at some point. RagnaroK's going to try and take his. It's quite droppable for ByuN, but we'll see if he wants to put the pressure in that direction. Oftentimes, Zergs struggle to actually hold on to that base just because, like I say, the Terran can actually drop it quite easily, and if they're pushing through the top, they can hop up into that base easily as well. So it actually is quite a nuisance to hold on to. Don't mind RagnaroK trying it in this game. ByuN's not really got attention being paid there, so probably one of the better opportunities to make the most of it is here we go. Some of these mines have already been set off just a few moments earlier. As you see, RagnaroK going to come crashing through. He's losing a ton of supply at once. Of course, a lot of this will be about the rebuild for RagnaroK. And where are the units of ByuN? He's got to have some more units somewhere. Supply suggests he does. A lot of units in reproduction from RagnaroK. As ByuN has CCs that are going down. I mean, RagnaroK's making some serious work happen here. 22 workers, 26 workers dropping down already. This Bioforce is just Oh, it's non-existent. He had actually a bit of supply left. Like, it looked as though it was still competitive, but he just didn't have the actual units on the map. I guess it was mostly just, like I said, all caught up in production. And another wave of this, and this should be pretty easy to wrap up for RagnaroK, as he will be taking a 2-1 lead in this best of 5 grand final here today, guys. Lings go right out to the right side yet again. Just gonna go escaping away as Lings now. Bane's gonna come running on by, hit into this mineral line, try and get some more SCVs. At this point, it's just not really even enough bio to kind of stand up against the banelings that can roll in at this stage, you know, so that too can be quite a problem. There's a ton of Zerglings going across the map. Gonna go for the in-base in just a few moments as a couple of Liberators will be set up activating and getting some kills. Our Lings will come in towards the top, and we're just gonna see our Lings coming through for a few more SCVs. A few Widow Mines also coming out just now. And our Bio Army getting up over here as our Banes will roll forward. Just gonna see those Lings still coming through with force onto this mineral line. No, this one's done, guys. There's not much to say. RagnaroK has plenty. ByuN has basically nothing. He's going to try and hang on in here as long as he can. That's what ByuN does, but this one really is probably the most one-sided situation we've seen in these games that weren't, you know, mere seconds from ending, and ByuN just tap out GG's. This is going to be a RagnaroK lead going into top right-hand side. Is going to be our Red Terran player from the Shopify Rebellion. Must win to stay alive in this finals. This is ByuN. Bottom left, our blue Zerg from Alpha X. This is RagnaroK. Alright guys, map number 4. Get this one up and running. It's a pool first from RagnaroK to start us out. I wonder if he has some aggressive intentions again. Obviously, last game he ended up against Reapers once more, so he's pool firsted a lot in these series. And last game he was drone scouting a lot, so he's definitely somewhat cautious of potential proxy racks. CC first from ByuN, larger map, you can do this. The one thing that would be a great blind counter here from RagnaroK, because you're kind of aware that ByuN does a lot of CC first, no scouts. The pool first itself isn't a great counter, but actually a very fast roach all-in is pretty good against a CC first, because obviously there's no factory quickly or anything like that, so the roaches can definitely do a lot to catch the Terran off guard and sometimes bust through and do very well. Double racks on the way from ByuN. And we've seen a couple of Lings already moving out up the left-hand side. So both these racks will be building up in the main base. I'm going to go reactor first as well. Is it anything aggressive from RagnaroK? Doesn't really seem so. Obviously not yet at the very least. Just a couple of Lings, which against the CC first will not really arrive in time to do anything. But they could maybe be annoying on this SCV because it's a reactor straight away. If there was a Marine out already, it's not really an issue. With a reactor straight away, you can maybe still contest this SCV. So you're going to lift the depot. The Lings do get a scout here. See the sector racks, for example. The SCV of ByuN is actually going to run onto the map. Because what he thinks right now is, pool first, what could come next? Well, A, if I keep this SCV here, maybe it gets killed by these Lings. B, I need to know ASAP whether I actually need to prepare against roaches or not. So he's going to try and get that information with the SCV. And timing on the third base, just seeing this would be fantastic, because that is a third base that suggests nothing else has been built. So that alone is great info for ByuN, and he sees that, recognizing that, pulls his SCV back home. And now he's got the Marines out to deal with the Lings as well, so yeah, a very smart scout from ByuN. The moment he sees the Lings, just gets that SCV onto the map, gets some confirmation that he's not in trouble against anything bar these couple of Lings, and he should be pretty happy about that and going on from there. stim pack. And a few more Marines just continuing to produce for the moment. So, well, we've seen this one before. ByuN building Marines and very likely to support them with medevacs. We just have our Marines continue to pop out. Our factory is going to finish, and the starport will come down as well. Our few Marines still producing. A couple of SCVs coming out. Progress being made as a few Marines come to the front just for a few moments. Queen gonna pop. Link speed about to finish. We got another depot down from ByuN. We'll do some injecting here. Stimpack still coming up. And again, just a few Marines now hang around at the front there. Starport will lift off over to the reactor. Factory will drop down for the tech lab. I'm just going to be seeing the medevacs on the way as our few Marines from ByuN already beginning to press forward just a little bit. And a baneling nest beginning to produce. RagnaroK just going to go the fast bane speed way of dealing with all this. Obviously lots of lings right now deal with these first group of Marines. And the banelings as a threat just to force the Marines to split potentially can be very nice for when it's more than just the first two medevacs. Obviously the first two medevacs, first 16 Marines, then Queen's fine. Beyond that you do want that little extra. And in this case obviously we're just lining up to build bane speed when the lair is done as well. Marines are really trying to figure out what they want to do and how they want to do it. Just going to stem forward, grab a creep humor to start. One upgrades coming through, the extra barracks on the way in. It's going to be seeing ByuN floating a third CC down to the low grounds. Just going to move that across. And again, Bane Speed coming up, Evo Chamber coming online. All of this still being brought into play as our combat shield will continue through as well. Now Marines will a little bit of progress to get rid of some creep spread. Pretty passive for the moment, obviously. You're not seeing an opportunity to go diving in and find a whole chunk of damage or anything like that just yet, but most that's good news for RagnaroK. It means he's not giving up those opportunities or anything either, right? So pretty healthy to note. As the Marines do come down the south side with the medevacs. As we stem forward, we're going to get rid of a couple creep teamers pretty much straight away. Some damage on this base. Obviously, it's not worth sticking around here. Not worth taking the damage on those Marines, but yeah, just stick around for a little bit. Now we back off. More Marines going to go back in the corner again. So back to the corner, and we stem straight through this hatchery immediately. Going to be taking damage. We actually target fire some banelings, so again making use of the fact that we're just here and able to find some value, and that is one of those things that ByuN just does oh so well. The rest of the Marines now will still just, it's still just this one drop, right? That's the next drop coming out from ByuN, and we'll actually be supporting with a couple of siege tanks inside the medevac. So a couple of tanks in the medevac to try and make something happen. See what he can do on this next push now is clean up quite a lot of the active teamers over here, and these Queens might be looking to re-establish some more. We do have the 5th to the top left side now. These tanks can get set behind the mineral line, though. There's definitely potential for this to be kind of scary. And put themselves behind the ledge, obviously deny as much position as possible, and they get first shots off for free onto the Lings. Coming forward now, we're going to lose a Queen, we're going to lose a bunch of creep spread, morphing banelings as well. Fantastic start to this trade from ByuN. 1-1 currently against 0-0 is obviously problematic as well. ByuN gets a fantastic start. That really was great. And now a few Lings go down as well. These Marines are going to have a full day at the moment. Counter-attack. Yes, please. I've got Marines ready for that as well. ByuN is just on fire on all sides. Not leaving any openings just yet. Coming through. A couple drones start to go down. RagnaroK is going to take even more fire. These tanks putting in some work. The Spore Crawler will be continuing to get fired upon, and the Queen's taking some shots too. We're actually going to start losing Queens here, guys. Here we go, massive surround setting up. We will start a target fire down the banelings. The Marines will lift out of here. The tanks will be abandoned, unfortunately. I mean, fantastic trade for ByuN. Through and through, every part of this was just efficient, right? Absolute pure efficiency. Oh my god. 1.2k to 4k resources lost. ByuN's lost 16 units. A tank and 13 marines. I think he must have friendly fired the other tank down, so that's not completely true, but... I mean, still, the idea of being 3 times as efficient or more... That, my friends, is why RagnaroK is losing this game right now. The efficiency is through the freaking roof from ByuN at the moment. That is unheard of efficiency. Just great positions, great trades. I mean, when ByuN starts pushing with the larger army, this shouldn't really be a contest. He's even got a 4th base. He's got a 2nd factory building. Only thing ByuN doesn't have, I guess, is the fact that 2-2's further ahead for RagnaroK. And he will get Burrow RagnaroK, so maybe that's a way for him to drag some efficiency back in his favor. ByuN's like, I'm not scared of this. I'm not going to see... What do you want me to do? Siege my tanks against this Ling Bane force? Pathetic. I will do no such thing. Knocks down this hatchery on the 6 o'clock. And we'll go down as he take the position that we've had before. ByuN obviously likes it. It works. And he's keeping a lot of units top left with a little drop plate as well. He's just going to be seeing Ling Bane continuing by. The Marines will stim up once more. Entry will drop into the main base we go. These Marines continuing through and just going to be seeing, well, continued fights. I mean, this is going to get cleaned up, right? But it's taking the units out of position, and you've just killed off the 4th base. Now you've got RagnaroK on 3 bases, rebuilding a 4th. And ByuN's actually continuing to press forward here, denying all this creep on this bottom side. Is this a little bit overcommitted? Probably, yes. It's obviously just such an easy surround for RagnaroK to set up because it's right outside of his base. And ByuN just get a little bit more damage done with it, so there's something there. Yeah, thank you, by the way, Dr. Duzzle, for the 4-month resub on the Prime coming through, as ByuN's got so many units at home. Like, right now, ByuN's playing this on hard mode. It's like, can you win the game with only the units you've already been using? You will not get any bonus, but, you know, you get the gratification of, hey, I only needed these units, you know? Kind of how it feels right now as more Marines and tanks gonna start to move out through the top. Marines coming through. This hatchery is in some trouble. I mean, we've got a push on the top side as well. The hatchery dies as the Banes will crash in here. So ByuN, maybe a bit too much attention being paid up to the top side, right? But the point kind of stands is that he's trading very well throughout, and he's keeping RagnaroK very busy too. Killing the base on the bottom side again is obviously a massive win, and he's just using the tanks to help position himself up this ramp and into position over here as well. These Banelings just running back and forth, having a bad time, and this hatchery is down as well. ByuN finding once again the trades are just propelling further and further ahead in this game. He's going to drop to the main, keep RagnaroK busy yet again. Yeah, I mean, just looking to keep on trading, keep on fighting. Ling's running through. We are going to Parasite Bomb and Medevac, which splits away. This drop was kind of sacrificed, but well, apparently ByuN's going to take this as a chance to move forward here. Is he trying to do too much? Is he getting a little bit too busy at the end of all this? A little bit too carried away? Maybe ever so slightly. Maybe just a little bit. Maybe not all of this is required, but yeah, I mean, ByuN, you can't deny that he's ahead in the supplies. Not massively, though. Ling's wrapping around by a force. We'll be getting busy. We'll be getting going. Just going to be seeing a few more cleanups coming by, and just going to be having more of these units of RagnaroK heading out to the center of the map, heading over that right-hand side. Firewall 5, couple Banes getting picked away at. Fire comes through, creep spread going down. I mean, again, still just a 20-ish supply lead, but that's obviously plenty to keep control of this game. RagnaroK is mining top left, by the way. I think that's the one base ByuN doesn't really know about. No, he does know about it, never mind. He hasn't found a chance to get rid of it just yet. Alright, well. It's going to come through. Marines will come in. I will continue to push. A couple of bailing bombs. I mean, that's the sort of thing that brings RagnaroK back in this game. Bio loads up. Just going to be seeing the Ultralisk coming through as well. Rest of the Bio continue to back away. And how many Ultras are on the map, guys? This is time to make some Ultra sounds. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. Well, I do think ByuN got a little ahead of himself, guys. I feel like he got a little bit carried away. Fire Force coming through, a couple of Lings dealing some damage. He needs to scan up this ramp. Still feel like he's in pretty good control of this game. RagnaroK's just doing everything he can to hold on, as ByuN has done in previous parts of this series. Come on, mini Ultras! Make a difference. At least we got to see the mini Ultras, right? That's an improvement on what we were expecting so found. Fire Force coming through, a couple of parasitic bombs gonna land. ByuN finally finds the split on those. Just gonna scan out a little bit of a check to see what's going on. A few more ghosts coming up, more Ling, Bane, Ultra continuing to produce, and just gonna see this Bio Force of ByuN back down to the south. So we're going to have Ling Bane Ultra making a bit of a move forward here. Running across the right. I'm just going to be, well, letting the mines do some of this work. ByuN as he kites away. This Ultras, obviously, they're a little bit better at chasing bio units now than they used to be as well. That was one of the updates in this patch also. So that is something else to kind of watch out for here. The Ultra's ability to kind of chase and actually get shots off more easily while they're chasing bio units. Obviously here we're not seeing much of an example of it, although ByuN, is he genuinely in a little bit of trouble, guys? I feel like ByuN might actually be in just a little bit of trouble at the moment. As, man, these units are freaking low HP. He does get rid of a couple Ultras right now, kiting backwards. Man, his units are low HP. He actually is in some trouble. 16 SCVs go down. RagnaroK is keeping a game out of this. We got a few Marines stranded on the high ground. Left behind, left behind. Can we call them Smoltras? I mean, they are kind of small, but I don't know, man. I like calling them baby Ultras. They're kind of cute. I mean, they are just... You guys can call them what you want. I like calling them baby Ultras, though. I know that's not, like, a roll off the tongue or anything, but... I don't know. Baby Ultras kind of just cute. I just like the image in my head of them just, like, running around like little kids, like, ah! Oh my god! The Marines! Nom 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 nom! You know what they remind me of? They remind me of the Carbot Ultralisk. That's what they remind me of, because now they're smaller and cuter. They totally look like a Carbot Ultralisk, no? Don't you guys think? They totally remind me of a Carbot Ultralisk now. 100%. Alright. Back to the action. As we have our game still in ByuN's favor, right? I mean, a couple scarier moments, some fights that were maybe a little bit wilder than they maybe ever should have been, as we pushed some group spread. Now forwards, we do come forward with our Bio Force. Just going to go for some group spread. Gonna see our Bio Force still pushing around. A couple Widow Mines setting up on the watchtower. Coming through, getting some Lings, and it's gonna be seeing our Bio on the bottom right, going after the hatchery. Drones here, gonna stop pulling into the fight. No, they're just gonna back away. Get some snipes on these Ultras. Turns out small Ultras get sniped pretty quickly as well. Obviously, the Bane's gonna force the Ghost back a bit as Medevac split away from the parasitic bombs. ByuN supply skyrocketing ahead of RagnaroK's, and ByuN has so much money, by the way. Holy crap. I guess RagnaroK's already spending a lot of his money rebuilding. ByuN get to do that as some final snipes on these Ultras, and they should mostly go down. I don't think the Ultras... I mean, this wasn't really a fair chance to see how good the Ultras would be at this size, right? Because ByuN was already very far ahead before Ultras came onto the map. As ByuN spends a bunch of his money, he's already down over here, and parasitic bomb on these couple of libs. Just gonna start target firing down the Viper. Funnily enough, that's a cute landing cloud, but it's not really going to do enough. There's not enough units to take advantage of the units kind of derping forward or anything. Some Banes are hitting. Like I said, I think You could argue a bit sloppy from ByuN. I mean, it's 3 AM for these guys. Don't want to criticize too hard. GG's. Another hand side, our red Zerg player. This is RagnaroK from Alpha X. Bottom left, our blue Terran from the Shopify Rebellion. ByuN. Boy, oh boy, what a series we are having. What a series we are having. Yes, this is a final game, guys. It's best of 5, not best of 7. So this is the final map. I guess maybe a quick chance for me to say as well, I'll be doing some sponsored content after the stream today, just for an hour. If you would like to join me playing a game, stick around. Sponsored content is Twitch bounty, so basically it helps if you stay tuned in and watching the stream. You know, everyone that counts as a viewer basically helps get paid more, so if you want to help support the channel and more StarCraft, consider leaving the stream on in the background, or even just watching the sponsored content at the end. Has been a banging day of playoffs, hasn't it? So many good games. I'm glad my voice is starting to feel a little bit better again, because I would not have been able to do today justice a couple days back, that's for sure. It's been a rough week for the voices. ByuN, low ground barracks. But just the one, right? So, not super crazy. CC will go down, feelings in production. It's again just going to be that pool first. So, low ground racks pool first. I don't think the pool first is going to really do anything, though, unfortunately. But we'll move out in the center. So actually, well, the pool first is going to get around the Reaper at least, but are we fully walled? Okay, this is actually kind of bad for ByuN because you lose the reactor. You can't, obviously you can't repair a reactor that is not finished building, so this reactor's dead. Then the Lings will get in. The reactor will buy some time for the Reaper to start coming back home, which it was starting to do anyways. Okay, cute. Engineering bay. The point here that RagnaroK's going for, though, is, hey, I'm going to build a roach roar, and I'm going to build a chunk of roaches, and I'm going to come across the map and be freaking scary. Which I completely understand, and obviously the Reaper will not get a scout on the roach roar, and the production's on the low ground, so you can't just defend the high ground here. Reaper is going to get rid of a couple of the Lings, will come back towards the others. The engineering bay doesn't finish, of course. You don't want that to finish. Again, the Reaper just going to spend a lot of time kiting. We're building a marine. We've not been able to build a reactor, so you're reactorless. Very worried right now for ByuN about what's going to happen next. I feel like this is actually going to be a bit of a problem. So this is going to be very bad, actually. I do not like this at all. These roaches. So he is building a bunker. He just doesn't have a lot of units yet. The Reaper is going to confirm its roaches as well, so he is at least going to play with full information as to what's happening here. So that at least is very good news. Cyclone producing our roaches, pushing down the map. Our bunker will be finished up, and two jumping inside. A couple of additional marines producing, and the Cyclone still coming out as well. Lair building from RagnaroK in the main base. So 2 base Lair on the follow-up. I mean, this is the right setup. Reactor, building marines, factory building off of a tech lab. This is the defense you need. This is the best setup you can have. Maybe the starport on a tech lab for a Banshee, but obviously it wasn't ready right away. There was the Cyclone. I mean, kind of weird, though, because the Cyclone will not be able to chase as much. Oh my goodness, that first Roach gets low. That is the perfect candidate to become a Ravager. Yeah, another lock on here, and this is just annoying. We actually get across the other side. We actually kill that Roach off. We did not morph for Ravager. We're saving the gas. He actually just started link speed, though, so maybe we're not saving the gas. Maybe he just didn't have the gas to build the Ravager to save it. Because he wanted to start link speed. That would make sense. Oh, we lose the Cyclone, which is obviously a little messy, and especially just because it's ByuN, we expect him to be perfect with the micro. He's going to clean up, guys. I think what's going to be interesting here is obviously the very fast Spire follow-up. This is honestly a pretty reasonable defense for ByuN, where he's kept mining pretty comfortably. But if he doesn't know it's a Spire follow-up, he gets into a lot of trouble very quickly, because what happens is then you're building Banshee, Hellion, there's nothing that shoots up, and the mutas can completely overwhelm you, so a very technical follow-up here from RagnaroK that ByuN just might not be expecting at all. He's going to see the lateness of this third hatch. That's very late just for roaches, though. So actually, the lateness of this third base might be a bit of a telltale sign as well. I think RagnaroK's already set to cancel this base. He's got a drone on the other side to build a different base, so very happy to do that quickly. Does ByuN catch on to the fact that this is in fact going to be... Oh my god, an armory. This is... Well, right now this is actually okay for ByuN, no? He's going to see... He's still speedless lings. He sees no more roaches. Where is the gas? That's the question ByuN has to ask himself. Where is the gas? The late third hatch, he must have still been manning gas, so what's he doing with the gas? Right? Like, you gotta kind of go through the logical conclusions and, you know, see what you're not seeing. And ByuN figure it out as the first mutas are on the way, guys. We have a Banshee out the front. Obviously, with this being a fast lair as well, you can build an Overseer against the Banshee. Banshee very nearly just goes down. In fact, there is the Overseer revealing itself as well. ByuN starts up engineering base. 7 mutas on the way. Okay, here's the thing. Like, these 7 mutas are going to probably clean this up, but how quickly are they going to clean this up? Will there be a chance to actually get some damage done? We get the Lings onto the Marines. Okay, so there's going to be no anti-air left, but the Hellions and Hellbats will make a play, and we are going to get rid of at least a few drones. And ByuN is obviously delaying the mutants' progress across the map. That's very important because now you have more time to get the missile turrets down. First missile turrets do begin. If ByuN can minimize damage taken here, he is in a grand position. It's the threat of the mutas and Lings overwhelming. That's the scariest part of this, as we're going to have a couple of Widow Mines want to burrow up on this ramp. Starport will get to the reactor. Lings are going to eat the first Widow Mine and second Widow Mine shot. We need to hold the front, guys. The reactor will go down. The couple of Marines here not going to be enough. What about... We just need damage against these Zerglings is the issue. The SCVs will try and repair the turrets, so the mutas got overwhelmed, but the missile turret goes down. The mutas have access here to the natural, and this is ByuN. He's hold position in SCV in the wall as well, I think. I think that's on hold position. 1 missile turret over here. 7 SCVs lost. This is still, for the moment, okay. These Widow Mines are going to come off cooldown. They're going to hit the mutas. Bang! Double kill as well. And the Viking and turret get another Mutalisk. That was a double kill off 1 mine. The other mine didn't even fire, and RagnaroK takes some massive damage. Alien Nest finished for him, though, and he has been drawn into RagnaroK's got a bit of hope behind this, as ByuN has a 3rd CC set up. Damn. What a freaking series, guys. What a great last couple of matches today. This has just been some truly ridiculous StarCraft, as Mutalisks will work their way down to the south, all joining up together. Viking Marines getting some shots off. Widow Mine will get burrowed up on the ramp as well. Just going to be seeing our mules make their way around the left-hand side. Some mules dropping in. One of those mules dropped down immediately as it was fresh. This is the issue, defending against the Mutalisks. And we're going to go roaches behind it. Wow. The thing is, you're probably not going to build many tanks here because you're playing against mutas, right? So you want to build mines, and in this case, we even build a Thor. But the last thing you want to be building is going to be the freaking tanks to deal with the roaches. So the 1-1 roach time delayed, but potentially still very effective, right? Definitely some possibility in that regard. We just pull back to the middle of the map. Going to turn it around once again here. We've got a random couple mines just scattered here and there. Would love to see an Overseer with this group of mutas, even if it is just a slow Overseer for the moment instead of being upgraded. Just so we can at least sometimes get rid of these mines after they shoot, because right now there's been some mines that have fired multiple times thanks to the armory being in play. Again, same mine as before, by the way. We're going to lose combat shields, though. We are going to lose combat shields. That's a bit messy from ByuN. He instantly rebuilds the tech lab in the same place as well. I mean, I can't believe he didn't put some repair on it before. Does ByuN know about this attack? All sources say no, not really. It's a lot of roaches coming through. Can he defend this with just the Widow Mines? And it's going to pull back Thor as well. And back over here for the moment. Triple racks cancel. None of that's going to finish. We're just going to stim up a ton of these Marines. Do we actually just have the power to fight these roaches? I was going to say, the SCVs pretty much have to pull into this. I do think the roach drop is a cool idea, because like I say, you're just not going to prepare against roaches defensively. He kind of holds on. 17 SCVs is a lot, but this is pretty committed, of course, on the side of RagnaroK. The Thor is running around. It's like, the SCV is like, dude, stop! Let us repair you! This Widow Mine's killed like 4 mutas, by the way. Combat shields for the second time. This time is going to be saved, at least for the moment. The SCVs need to get across. The Thor gets here. The mutas actually think are going to get pushed back. Meanwhile, we're going to come in with Ling Roach Ravager. Yeah, obviously, Ling's on the reinforcements, maybe not as hot. We've got a lot of mules to drop if we can actually stabilize on this third base. ByuN's economy will be booming if he ever gets the chance. There's one SCV that remains. Oh my god, that's going to be a duel. Combat shields is so close to finishing. Well, I guess we'll find out in a moment or two. It might not even matter as these Marines are fighting for their lives against these roaches. There's no SCVs left over here. RagnaroK is going to have too much stuff. Combat shields finishes. There's finally tanks, but the first one will get corrosive file down. Yep, final shots were there for it. The other one will hold, but at this point, ByuN's taking too much damage, right? The muta's all dead, by the way. I can't believe this Widow Mine. 9 kills, and like half of those are freaking mutalisks. Like, come on. That's ridiculous. He lost 3 mines this game. Yeah, so considering he built like 4 mines, it's ridiculous how many kills he got with them. ByuN does have a 4th orbital, by the way. That's actually kind of an odd thing to mention, to kind of have, but he does have it. If he can hold on, like I say, RagnaroK's army is very much about the here and now. Well, obviously we're doing pretty well in the here and now at the moment. These tanks need to get the hell out of here. Back it up. Like I say, if ByuN has a chance to actually drop some mules for a while, he would actually have a ton of eco almost immediately. ByuN using the tank positioning well to survive for the moment. He could really deal with like sneaking a base like up the left side and just muling like the 9 o'clock location. RagnaroK's even going to check just in case. He's going to put a Ling there. Literally what I just suggested, like sneak a base here. Just in case, right? He's thinking about ways he can still lose this game, and that is one of the ways he can still lose this game. A base that he doesn't know about. What if ByuN expands to the south instead? Is that realistic? He doesn't seem to want to. He's going to lose this orbital to corrosive files, man. I just don't think there's any other way, right? Well, the moment's going to be okay. We do drop down a chunk of mules. Like I said, that's going to boost ByuN's economy massively. That's money he's been missing out on while on low SCVs. I mean, this will give him a nice boost, but RagnaroK is switching it up into Baneling speed, into the melee upgrade. +2 carapace coming up as well. Medevac goes boosting up the left-hand side. Lings and Ravages continuing through. The Lings are just going to go after said Medevac, and our tanks will see a jump. A few Lings going down. Corrosive files coming through, and just going to have to Thor dodging out the way. RagnaroK is going to be maxed out. The addition of Banelings is obviously going to be quite nice, as yeah, he's even killing off roaches, man. He just wants more Lings, more Banes, I guess. He's like, you guys try to become Ravages? You guys don't deserve to become Ravages, bros. Yeah, this is a little bit brutal. Is there a way for this defensive stand of ByuN to work out? He's going to start dropping around the map, not something RagnaroK's had to deal with for a long time. All the mutas died, so drops are going to be somewhat effective. Sitting out the front with a group of units, one of the orbitals can try and go down the bottom right. I mean, it doesn't feel bad if ByuN truly gets onto 4 bases, right? I guess, can you attack into this as RagnaroK? Probably not. He's had this Overlord spreading creep here for a long time. ByuN too busy to go and check on the possibility of that and to preemptively clear it out. You're going to start seeing the Vipers and the Ultras Cavern coming down, so we might get another look at Ultras here in this game number 5 final match and final map of this tournament. RagnaroK in winning position. But this has not been a tournament where these two have given up easily at any point in time, so Corrosive Bars will actually knock down the Viking. It looks like we're just going to leave a unit there to spot for the 4th base. Actually, it looks like ByuN might go up the left side instead for the 4th. He's going to bring this Medevac back down as well, so there's a little bit of activity in the center. It's not really going to be continued, as it's a lot of Corrosive Vials. ByuN is sneaking towards being maxed out, guys. 160 supply now. Just playing this slow, knowing that if he gets maxed, there's always going to be an opportunity He'll be maxed out against, in theory, a massive bank of the Zerg who's been able to tech up as they wish, but better than the prior situation as ByuN. Probably is just happy to turtle this up and camp this out a little bit. Couple libs come forward. SCV is going to transfer to the far left side. We even have libs defensively now as well. Again, that fourth orbital has been up for such a long time. It's just been not able to get anywhere. There you go. Obviously, the libs are kind of fun because what they do is they add extra targets for the Corrosive Bile, so the Ravagers have to figure out really what they want to be striking. And if you're hitting the Liberators, then it gives the tanks a better chance of surviving too. Preemptive turrets as well. Turrets, not for mutas obviously, but potentially for Vipers. Also very important to deal with the potential burrowed roaches that you could see at this stage of a game. Those were not good Blinding Clouds, guys. I felt like the Blinding Clouds did not go towards the tanks at all. The Banelings are melting to the bio as they press forward. A horrible fight for RagnaroK, but he is going to be able to rebuild off of this, where ByuN is going to struggle a lot more to rebuild off of this. And the rebuild is going to be 5 Ultras. So RagnaroK is going to have a lot of punching power in this upcoming attack. ByuN will have to start bringing some of his further back siege tanks away from that defensive location to the front. And that's what RagnaroK might be trying to catch a little bit of right now. For the moment, he's happy to take down the sensor tower, stop ByuN from knowing where this next attack will come from. As ByuN is just continuing to try and hold on for absolute dear and utter life. Nothing's going to flood on in towards this mineral line. Siege tank already knocked down, and we're just getting rid of a few SCVs at this point. I mean, ByuN is struggling for money, right? He's struggling for rebuild. So all of this works out in his favor. That little baby Ultralisks, they're ready to eat up some Terran for breakfast. Let's see what they can do. A couple of Vipers still in play. We're going to reposition a Widow Mine. We have got Ghosts coming out. The first few snipes will go down. The first Ultra goes down. The rest of these Ultras might just be a bit too much, though, as ByuN trying to hang on in here, but he just really does not have the numbers. Ultra goes down. A few more Lings are dropping. The Ultra and the Ravagers. The Banes as well, top left. That base is going. ByuN is losing economy. He can't handle losing. This game has obviously been RagnaroK's for a little while, but ByuN really played it into whatever he could to kind of stay alive in this. Ghost does not get snipe off because of the range. And below 100 supply, ByuN is truly going to be running out of options here. Queens, Lings, continue to join together this army of RagnaroK, remaxing. And this next attempt may very well put it to a close. Bio Ghosts continuing to set up. Just going to be seeing our Ravagers coming back top left, back down to the center. Just going to be seeing the rest of our drones continuing through as well. I'm just going to be seeing our Marauders, our Ghosts all continue to set up. RagnaroK is ready for the final fight, I think, of this tournament. He is looking to become the Christmas Invitational champion after a ridiculous best-of-5 series. I mean, it has actually been insane, the series that we've witnessed between these two. Because here we go. The Banes starting to go down. The Ghosts will get active. What can we do, Ghosties? What can we find? Enough? Well, absolutely not. ByuN doesn't have units to even last the fight. GG's. RagnaroK is your champion after a ridiculous best-of-5 grand final.